A little concussed.
You know what it is, man? When you spar with Daniel Cormier,
Yeah, DC.
Todd Duffy, and Luke Rockhold in succession, when you don't take a break.
You did, or we call that the Shark Tank.
I was in Shark Tank. We were
You were
moving
the
around.
shark. You were the
I
shark.
was the shark.
And
when you take 1 minute breaks, and then you do, when you really, at the end of the day, when you do 4 5-minute rounds at 50, all right? Because don't think, oh, I'm sorry, 6 5-minute rounds, because I moved around with Brianna Van Buren, the bull, and then a Brazilian gentleman with very, very wide face and wide cheekbones.
Okay.
Anyway, the point is that...
You definitely do that many rounds straight, but I hear you. Because I've seen you hit mitts at boxing, Bernie, take a knee.
It's a long time ago.
Okay.
It's a long time.
Okay, I've seen you take knees during 3-minute rounds.
It's a long time ago.
I'm sorry.
But, dude,
No,
it's a long time ago, okay?
Yeah, okay.
It's a long time ago.
Okay.
Now, I'm pissed at myself because I let as I was closing in on Daniel, he double-legged me. So I didn't see that coming.
So you guys were MMA sparring?
We're doing some little MMA sparring. Yeah, little MMA sparring. Luke invited me to AKA, and I get there thinking I'm going to hit mitts, and our boy Nate Marquardt's there, and
I haven't seen Nate in forever.
It's so good to see him, and a bunch of killers.
Is Nate there full time?
I think he's training there
just to make it up.
He did some heavy sparring. He was in the cage.
That's Nate, dog.
He disappeared and did some. He came back, and his nose was all. It looked different. I was like, he's a killer.
That's Nate, dog. Did you suck off all the boys after practice?
Well,
or how's that work?
I was a little too tired, and my nose was bleeding too hard. So Luke tosses me headgear, and I look in the gym, and it's all these pros who are getting ready.
Man.
Yeah.
AK.
And I was like, and Cormier goes, I got Callen first. I got Callen. I'm like, I'm not warmed up at all. What do you mean you got Callen? So as I'm moving around with DC, and when I say moving around, of course, don't say spar. Never say you sparred with anybody when you walk in there. You're moving around. And he's giggly, and I enjoyed hitting him as hard as I could in the shoulders and the chest, and trying to hit his head as my fist would bounce off that very thick body.
He's the best.
Yeah. And then he would pepper me a little bit, bop, bop, and then hit me, and then kick me in the leg a little bit, and then take me down. And then at one point he took me down, and it was very interesting. Every man should feel this, because he goes, Luke, as he's driving his shoulder into my lungs, into my chest. Yeah. I couldn't breathe, and I almost started to panic. I almost started just to panic and like tap from that, and he got up, and then he made it up.
Then after they played grab ass with you, did they do like real rounds after? Did they get after? Or no.
Well, yeah.
Just move around.
So then Todd Duffy gets a hold of me. I don't know if you know this, but Todd's a little bit athletic and a little bit big.
Yes.
Yeah. And so Todd's joking around. Is he
still fighting though in the UFC?
I don't know. I'm not sure. We didn't talk about that. But he looks good. He always
does.
Good. Hitting mitts, so athletic.
Freak.
So athletic and big.
Freak.
And so nice and telling me not to dip. He goes, hey, Bri, look around. He goes, you see how stupid this looks? And all these belt holders.
Really?
All these belt holders. He goes, now, do you know why you don't want to dip to dip down this way? You keep dipping to your left because I'm going to kick you in the head. And that's what happens.
You do that, Wayne. You do a lot of that dip. Like
yeah. And so we started laughing. And then he kind of beat me up a little bit. And then Luke says to Brianna, who's a very good MMA, she's got a belt holder in a couple divisions. He goes, punch his fit lights out. She's very small. And she's getting under my punches and peppering me, fireman's carrying me, taking me down. I had to whipped your ass? I had to fight to not be embarrassed. I had to fight back. It's very embarrassing. And then Luke decides to start kicking me around. He's roundhousing me in the fucking gut. And by the way, and at one point he punched me in the face, and I started bleeding. He goes, "Ooh, little blood, huh? Little blood." I'm like, "Hey, bro."
Your nose is bleeding?
Yeah. Hey, bro. I
can't have that, man.
I can't have
show
it.
that night too?
Yeah. My face looked like Bozo the Clown.
Was Khabib there?
He wasn't there. I was looking.
You should have.
Because I would have called him right out.
And taken him for some tiramisu?
Oh, yeah. For a little suplex.
A little tiramisu?
A little suplex action and some tiramisu. Yeah, a little suplex action and tiramisu. Anyway, that place
was my boy Josh Thompson there? Did you see
He
Josh?
wasn't there. He was supposed to come to a show, and he never showed up.
He never came?
No, I don't know.
I'm surprised he didn't actually do his podcast or something.
We had him set up for
He's
tickets.
He's a great guy.
I love that guy.
Really good guy.
Yeah, really good guy. I met him.
The punk. He's supposed to come out to L.A.
Yeah.
He's always out here.
Very good guy. Yeah, it was just cool, man. I like being around. For me, it's really exciting. I'm such a fight fan that how many guys like me get to actually joke around and kind of move around with someone like DC or Luke Rockhold. That's fucking fun, Todd. Yeah, it is. And I paid for it.
Good shows in San Jose.
Great shows in San Jose. Fucking great shows.
I love San Jose.
I do too, man. That theater has got so much history built in